tallied everything up yet, but I'm just double checking. Hold on one second. Hi, everybody. In case I wasn't broadcasting and I thought I was broadcasting, we're really broadcasting now, and I've got Stephen Price on the phone. So we're just talking about assignments, and I was telling Stephen that I am about to be getting grades up and posted this week. I will be giving you guys an email explaining how to access those, but so far it's looking really good on Connect, and in Stephen's case, he's actually done all of the assignments that were the recording assignments as well. He did very good at receiving those instructions and actually gave me a few suggestions on how to improve them. So thank you, Stephen, for that suggestion. It's yeah, so the Hangouts is like this platform that Google has. It's going to soon become YouTube Live, and I have to figure out how that works, but I can broadcast to you using webcam and a microphone, and you can join me online just by logging into your internet or like pressing on the link that I send you 1,000 times. And if you can't join me at that time because you have class or work or some other obligation, then you can go back and you can watch the recording later. So it's pretty cool. I am too. I'm learning as we go. You're right. There are 3 ways that you can join the broadcast. You can click on the phone icon if you don't want to show your own self or if you don't have a webcam. And then you can also join, I think, by video. I'm not sure how many videos we can get going at one time, but probably the best way to listen in is to use that first option, that's the phone, and then to mute the mic if you're not talking, right? So then we don't have 1,000 people like giving feedback or whatever. But we can experiment with this. We clearly don't have very many people attending the live office hour right now. But that could be my fault. I actually included the link in the email from last night and last week. I had previous students that I would be doing these during my office hours and to watch out for the links. So I'm just getting used to this software, and it's got a way that you can say like, oh, I'm going to do it at a certain time and create what's called an event. So I can send you out the link beforehand, but then I usually kind of resend it out so that it's at the top of everybody's inbox right as we're doing it. And then I also send it out once again, like right as we get started, so that people can, if they're logged into the Hangout but they can't figure it out, like where they are and stuff, because that's happened to me before, then maybe it'll just pop up on your screen. So yeah. You got the more recent invitations, but maybe you didn't see the link in the email last night. I believe I did. That's how I actually got to this broadcast today. I had to go back and click on my link. So yeah, it's kind of like a work in progress, but if you ever have questions and can't appear live, you can send them to me in advance, or if it's something that we've talked about recently in an email or something that I think is like good to bring up, then I can do that on the live broadcast as well. Yes, that's okay. And I know that less than 24 hours notice is not a lot of notice. Again, I'm really trying to just get up and running with this to see if I can actually do it amidst all the other hundreds of things that go with like startup of a brand new course online. I'm not familiar with that program. I don't know that we have access to it here at Humboldt. What is it called? I'm not familiar with that particular one, but I know we do have a couple different platforms. One of them is the one that comes, it's called Blackboard, and it's like synonymous with our textbook, and that might be a way that we continue to broadcast. The cool thing about this though is that once I broadcast, it can be posted on YouTube and available to people in I guess I feel like more ways than just Blackboard, because like Blackboard's very limited. Like you'd have to like be in our class, in our book, etc. And I think that maybe via the phone, some people's, like if they were going to try to join us using their cell phone, that might be really hard. Do you know if people were able to use their cell phones with that other software that you're talking about? Okay, nice. Mm-hmm. Yes. Sounds good. Yeah, I will check out Sokoko. Maybe you can send me the link just in case I can't find it or my memory fails me later. Um, I am on board with all of that. And I think that it's nice to have that human touch. So I'm open to doing that. I don't have the dinner hour open. You were saying that you guys met like kind of at the end of the day kind of thing. And after hours, I would totally be open to that, except I have a small space and my baby is a very light sleeper. So, so this is actually a really good time right now because I can get away. I've got my class that I teach and I can come just straight here to the office, and then um, if like people want to come in, like last week I had a student that came in and we broadcasted together. That was pretty neat. So yeah, I'm open to suggestions for that. It's great to hear what other people are doing on campus and that it worked. This particular class, yes, it is. And I did, I've done some online teaching before using other modalities, but it was with a little bit like a smaller class. So we use like Skype and things like that. So it wasn't, it wasn't like we had to try to fit 25 people online in the same like room to be able to view a Blackboard or talk about things necessarily. And this course actually, it's designed as an asynchronous course. It's not like a hybrid. Well, it's kind of like a hybrid course, but it's not. It doesn't have that in-person component. Like some classes, they have like seminars or lectures or something that you have to attend physically during the semester, and unfortunately, we don't have that. I mean, I guess fortunately for some people, if you can't make it here, that's great. But unfortunately, we never really actually get to meet in person, which blows my mind still, but it's happening. Right. I think that's a good point. We do use a lot of technologies in this class, and obviously for someone like yourself who started after the first day, it was a lot to take in really quickly, and I want to commend you on catching up as quickly as you did. You did amazing. We are going to be coming across some new software, some new like technology applications this week. One of them is called Go Animate. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but have you seen that one? It's kind of cute. They've got like avatars, and you can, using the script that you create, get these like cartoon characters to talk. So we're going to take a look at that a little bit later this week. And then also, what's the other one coming up? Let me get back to my calendar here. We've got, Okay, we've got go animate, and then I believe there is one more. Maybe that's in the next chapter. Oh, another thing that we're going to be able to access real soon, actually you could access it now, is called Learn Smart, and it's just a component of the Connect software that it allows you to start studying certain concepts. And so there's 2 different sets of study questions that are already up and ready for us to use. One of them is vocabulary based and the other one is grammar based. And so now that we're about halfway through the chapter, I always recommend that students go in and start familiarizing themselves with those types of questions because they're similar to the types of questions that we'll start to see in our test review and also on the test. Well, there's not a separate link. It's already there for you in Connect. So Connect is that online access to the book, and the web page has like a separate tab that says, it says Puntos actually, which is the name of our textbook, but under that there's a link that'll take you there. And we have the daily assignments that come up as they become available. They show the due dates there. And then at the very bottom in the list for chapter 1, there's something called Learn Smart, and the icon next to it is a little different. It's like black with white writing. Oh, you did one. What did you think of it? Right, it caught you off guard. Mm-hmm. Oh. Right. That's true. Oh yeah, so the timing on there really is just to let you know like how quickly you're progressing. The test is timed. You only have a certain amount of time. We assume like about 1.5 class periods. So if you're somebody that needs extra time, or if you're just wanting to be really careful, it'll give you, I think I have to double check this, but it should be about 90 minutes to complete the exam. And then once those 90 minutes are up, it closes. So on the upcoming test, it will be timed because it assumes that you're at home, but it wants to be like a regular testing situation. So yeah, that's why the Learn Smart has a timer on it. But it's kind of neat because then it asks you, do you feel confident or do you know the answer? And you get to say yes, maybe, or I might, or I don't. And then it can show you resources as well. You can do them anytime. There is a final due date, which I think is like a couple minutes before the test. So you can practice all the way up until the time that you're going to take the test. I like to leave them open so that you can access them anytime. So like everybody's got their own way of studying, but you probably know from experience, learning a language is more like, practicing for a marathon than it is like sprinting to a finish line. So you could definitely sprint at the end of your marathon if you still have any energy. But in order to have gotten that far, those 25 miles that you've just ran, you had to start with like maybe a couple feet or a couple miles at a time and then build upon those. So that's why I have those up and available. You can do them at any time. They are due for practice purposes at the end of the chapter, and they will be counted towards like your participation and homework for the test review. Exactly. You can just redo them, and with any of the activities you can redo it as many times as you want before the deadline, and it will take, I believe it takes the best one If I read all the permissions right, there's a lot of reading involved with all of this. But if you are in the middle of an activity and a deadline hits, so say it's like midnight on the day that it's due, and you're in the middle of punching in your answers because you're maybe practicing a second time or a third time, it'll revert back to the one that was actually completed and submit that. But in terms of the grading, you know, the practice or the homework, really, it just serves as practice. It's if you go in, you do it well, and you're participating, we give you full points. And if you maybe only completed part of it or weren't able to get to it because life happened, then it's not a huge deal. It's just you don't get the points for that particular day. But then the next day is the next day, and so you can go ahead and do it. And if you missed it because, you know, you had to go do something or you didn't have time to do the homework, then you can just get caught up. You can always go back into those old exercises and you can practice them, but they won't necessarily count for points. That's exactly why. It's set on a credit, no credit grading scale. Are you comparing the Spanish 105 to like other community colleges and like how their systems are different? Oh, right. Yes, it's it doesn't count towards general education, and it doesn't cover the Area C requirements in the catalog. So if you're a student and you're trying to like use this course to graduate, it does count for people who are, for example, English majors or history majors or other majors that have like a language requirement of like a couple different semesters. So like I think in English you have to have 2 semesters of a foreign language to be able to graduate. And it doesn't matter what level you're at, you just have to have studied 2 semesters consecutively. And so, but if you're looking to like use this class, for example, as an elective, it doesn't necessarily fulfill certain requirements in certain boxes. So you want to be careful depending on your degree. Yeah, and actually it's a really good point because a lot of students will take this class thinking that it does help them out in terms of their progression for their degree track, and you have to read really carefully and you have to consider your major really carefully. I've already had this discussion. I think if anybody's listening that had this discussion with me, they'll be like nodding their heads right now because we had a few kids change out of this class actually for that reason. So yeah, great. Nice. Well, I hope you stop by the office sometime, Stephen. I would love to meet you in person. And if you want to participate in our broadcast next week, I think maybe we'll count on Tuesdays as being the broadcast day. And if this time is good for people. Otherwise, I'll throw out some dates and see what people say. Great. Well, I look forward to getting that from you. Thank you so much. And I'm going to say goodbye to everybody out in Google land. And hasta mañana. Ciao.